Today I'm going to talk about how to deal with the fear and anxiety of doing something really hard that feels uncomfortable. And I'll talk about it through kind of a combination of the lenses of Taoism, Buddhism, and psychotherapy, parts work. So I'll give you 3 tips here for a situation where you are about to commit or you've committed to doing something that feels uncomfortable. Like maybe you've agreed to give a speech in front of everyone at work, or maybe you've decided that you're finally going to start your own business. So you've submitted the application for a lease on office space, and now you're starting to feel like, oh crap, now I have to actually get clients, or now I have to actually write my speech. Right? And you're just feeling all this self-doubt creep in. Why did I do this? How did I let this happen? Oh my God, what did I sign myself up for? I'm screwed, right? So you're feeling all this kind of agitation, activation in your body. What can you do about it? So the first step is always it's kind of the 0th step here, is to ground yourself. Right, to just take some deep breaths with long out breaths, feel your feet on the ground, really get in your body, because all this anxiety is happening in the head. So you want to get out of your thoughts and into your body. You can worry about your thoughts in a moment, but for now, settle, breathe, long out breaths. And so once you've done that kind of initial preparation of really getting in your senses, really focusing on one of the senses, like touch, feeling the ground, feeling your fingers, feeling your breath, whatever it is. Once you've grounded, then you can go to my first tip here, which is kind of the Taoist approach of going with the flow, but at kind of a deeper level. Really imagining that you are on kind of a river of life. The river is taking you in a certain direction, and it's got a pretty strong current. And so your options are either to surrender and just let the river flow you along, or to try to fight it and swim hard to go the other direction. And here's the thing. When you decide, this is where I'm going, you can kind of redirect the river. Right? Once you decide, I am committed, I'm signing up to give this speech, or I'm committing by signing the lease on the office space. Imagine that you are redirecting your river of life to be pointed toward that goal. And so now, if you surrender, if you just go with the flow and let it take you, it's going to take you to that goal. But if you act as if it's still a choice to be made, like, wait, do I actually want to do this? Is this actually right for me? What have I done? Did I make the wrong choice? Then that's fighting it. That's imagining that the river is going somewhere else. But if you really trust, no, I have redirected it to this place, and I am just going to act as if this is the direction that I'm going now. This is just what's happening. If I stop fighting it, if I just accept this truth, that this is where I'm headed, then I can notice the parts of me that are resisting and try to kind of forcibly relax them. And notice the tension and kind of tell it, oh, my shoulders are up, go down, soften. Oh, there's tension in my jaw, soften. Give it a little rub. All right, so there's kind of physical tension that you could be noticing, that physical resistance, but then there's the mental resistance of second-guessing yourself. And just notice that happening and try to pretend, what if it's not a choice? What if this is now just my fate? This is where I'm headed. This is what my future holds. I'm just going with it. And so notice all the ways that you might be kind of sabotaging yourself and acting like this is not where you're headed, right? And see if you can just pretend. Right? I know it's going to be really hard to just trust completely that everything's going to be okay. So I'm not saying just trust that everything's going to be perfect, but I'm saying really embrace the idea that this is now your direction. And so the second piece is recognizing that kind of this is now where your river is pointed, but at the same time, you can't predict the future. And the trap that we can get into is trusting our thoughts too much. And so the thought might tell you, here are all the ways that this is going to fail. Here are all the ways it's not going to work, right? And so you feel this tension in your body, you feel the butterflies, whatever that sensation is that's unpleasant, and your mind is telling you that's proof that this is dangerous, right? Those unpleasant feelings you're feeling in your body are proof that you know this is going to fail. You don't trust this. But the problem is that the brain is just a pattern matching machine. So the brain doesn't actually know what's going to happen in the future. All it's doing is looking for what are some similar experiences that I've had in the past or that I've read about in the past or whatever, right? And which of those experiences does this remind me of? So your brain is kind of piecing together these components and saying, well, that time in the past was scary. That time in the past, it went wrong. So that's probably going to happen here too. But especially if you've had a history of, trauma, wounding, difficult experiences, your brain is going to imagine that some really bad thing just like that is going to happen again because it's pattern matching, right? So your job is to notice, okay, my brain is telling me these thoughts, this might fail, but it doesn't know for sure. It's just guessing. It's just guessing based on what this set of characteristics reminds it of. And so you can look at that from the psychological perspective of kind of catching that thought and questioning it logically, like, do I know this is true? What's the evidence? But you can also look at it at the deeper spiritual level, the existential level. In Buddhism, we talk about how the only true thing is the present moment. The past is already gone. You can't touch it. It only lives on in thoughts in your mind. And the future doesn't exist yet. You can't touch that either. Right? No one really knows for sure what's going to happen in the future. And so you can really investigate this when you slow down and meditate on it and really check, do I know that this is going to happen? How do I know that? What if that's not true? Right? It's a really subtle thing because there's a difference between the just kind of logical knowing that many possibilities can happen and really investigating it, kind of the felt sense experience in kind of a shifted state, right? Not just your regular state of everyday consciousness, but if you meditate for a while and you get to a deeper place where you can really investigate, like, the only thing that's actually true is right here, right now. What I can touch, my fingers, what I can see around me. That's the only truth. Everything else about this imagined future is just thought. It's just these ideas popping into my conscious awareness from nowhere. And they don't have to be true. You can examine each one and choose not to let that take hold in you. And so, especially when you're feeling this kind of fight, flight, freeze response, this kind of like danger response, like you're feeling this tingling or this tension, right? It's because your body is really afraid that there's actual danger here. And so if you actually look around, this can be part of mindfulness as well, like really checking, is there danger here? Is my body, are these thoughts telling me the truth that because I'm feeling this tension, it means there's danger here? Right? Or could it be that this is just sensation? Sure, I'm feeling tension, I'm feeling tingling, but does that have to mean I'm anxious? Or could it mean I'm excited? Wow, I just took this step forward by signing up to give this speech or signing up for the lease for my office space. Could this tingling in my body actually be a natural reaction to, wow, I'm doing the thing. Here I go, I'm doing it. Does it have to mean that I'm anxious? Right? You can really examine that with curiosity and mindfulness of checking, like, there's tingling in my chest or my shoulder. Does that have to mean anything, or is it just tingling? So that brings me to my third point, like, yeah, it's easier said than done, right? And part of the reason why this is so hard is because you're not fully in your best state, your best kind of psycho-emotional state when you're freaking out about this, because you're in this kind of fight, flight, freeze response, right? If you're imagining it's actual danger. And so often what's happening there is that kind of a younger part of you or a more wounded part of you is taking control. And it's freaking out because this reminds that part of something bad that happened a long time ago. And so that younger part is not as wise as your adult self. It's not able to rationalize as much. So it's saying, no, that looks like that scary thing from a long time ago. It's going to hurt me. And so what you can do is, again, ground yourself, breathe, and look around, really check, is that true? Is this just like that scary time back then? Is this actually dangerous? Where's the danger? Can I actually touch the danger? Right? Oh, look, these are familiar objects around here. Oh, there's the door. I know I can get out if I need to. Are there actually any scary things in here right now? No, there aren't. And then you can give reassurance to that younger part. Maybe you can give yourself a little rub or a little hug and just try to picture that younger part of you. Like, who is the part that is really afraid right now? And can you reassure it that I'm here with you? I know you're scared, and I'm right here with you. I'm giving you a hug. I'm going to keep you safe. Right? And you might wonder, well, you just said you can't predict the future, right? So how can you possibly reassure this younger part and say, don't worry, you're going to be safe? Right? Isn't that lying? The thing is that this younger part is not strategizing about the future, right? It's not like this highly intelligent, rational being that's predicting, well, based on the evidence, I think this is going to happen in the future. No, it's just afraid of what's happening right now because it thinks there's danger right here, right now. And so you don't need to tell it anything about the future. You just need to tell it, hey, right now, you're safe. Right here, I'm looking around. Don't worry, I'm checking it out. And there's nothing dangerous here. I'm right here with you. We're safe together. And in fact, we want this. I know this feels scary, but we actually really want to give this speech or rent out this office space so we can start our business. Right? This is actually going to be awesome for us. And I'm going to be here with you every step of the way. And, at first when you try that, it might seem silly. It might seem like you're just making it up. It's just your imagination. But the truth is that if you're having this kind of bodily response, that there actually is, a real neural network in there that kind of got stuck in place when you were younger. And it's not made up. It is having a genuine reaction to this stimulus. And so, sure, like the younger you that you're picturing doesn't actually exist in you in that way, but that part of your brain that represents that way of thinking that was locked in at that, older time period of your life is very real. That kind of decision-making process that leads to those scared feelings is a real thing in your mind. And so it is valuable to take it seriously. Like, yeah, it makes sense that I'm scared right now, and it's going to be okay. I'm right here. So it's not just a debate. It's not just logically proving it wrong. Because it's like you're talking to a little kid, right? So you're not going to debate the little kid. You're just going to offer reassurance and validation. I'm here. We're going to be okay. Right? So the steps again are start out by grounding yourself, deep breaths with long out breaths, feeling your feet on the ground, using some sensory experience like touching your fingers or noticing specific colors or textures around you. Then imagining that you've kind of redirected the river of your life to be pointed toward the thing that you're now moving toward, and accepting that you're actually now moving toward it. It's not a choice anymore. You're not trying to decide, but you're actually doing this. And don't fight it. And then next is reminding yourself that you really don't know the future. Your brain's just pattern matching, and at a fundamental existential level, we really cannot know. So if your mind is telling you these thoughts of certainty, this is definitely going to be bad, it's confused. It's not true. You can really investigate that. And then finally, take care of your child self. And not about reassuring it about the future, but right here, right now, we're safe. I'm here with you. I'm going to keep checking in on you. We're doing this together. All right? Hope that helps. Let me know how it goes in the comments. And I hope you have a nourishing day.